In this video, we'll be taking a look at one of the hardest vulnerability to prevent, and that is broken access control. The terms that we need to familiarize when it comes to access control first is roles and permission. Permission are the things that you can do in the application, and roles are just groupings of those things that you can do. Another term is authentication. This is where you prove that you are the person capable of that role, either by password or some other means. Now, when it comes to roles, usually there are levels to it. And the higher your role, the more things that you can do. And this is where the term vertical privilege escalation comes from. This means that given a certain role that you have, for some reason or another, you can do things that are above your pay grade. Now let's take a look at the simplest type of broken access control, and that is unprotected functionality. This is you discovering some undocumented functionality that lets you do actions that you shouldn't have access to. Now let's check this lab. It says that this lab has an unprotected admin panel. Solve the lab by deleting the user Carlos. So we have opened it here. And based on the previous page, it says that on robots.txt, sometimes it's accessible. And as you can see, there is a page called administrator panel, and what we're going to do is we can cut and paste it here, and let's see if what will happen. As you can see, you now have an access to the administrator panel, and we can simply delete Carlos. Now if you're doing some engagement, it may not be this easy to find some hidden pages or hidden directory in the web server that you are trying to pen test. One of the tools that is available on Kali is the Dearbuster. Now, what we're gonna do is let's just copy the URL here, and let's put slash at the end, and let's try to browse. In Kali, there is already a word list. So it's user share, and there's a Dearbuster directory here, and there's a word list. What we can do is maybe let's try the small one, and let's click start. Okay, while it's starting, let's wait for the results. Okay, this is a sample, a small run of the Dearbuster, and as you can see, it has sent some 202 requests, and here is the result. And you can see on the tree view that it has found a folder called resources, where there are images, shop.svg, some JavaScript, this this page, the product page, the login, and this is how powerful Dearbuster is. So now the next example is that the URL may not be that easy to guess, or you cannot brute force it. But the next thing to check is the HTML, where you may see some URL that does not appear in the actual web page. So let's check out the next laboratory. Okay, says that this lab has an unprotected admin panel. It's located at an unpredictable location, but the location is disclosed somewhere. So let's solve the lab by accessing that admin panel and again deleting the user Carlos. A good place to start is always when you are enumerating a website is the HTML. So we just right click view page source, and let's check if there's something that is out of the ordinary. And as you can see here, there's a JavaScript, and there is that hidden admin panel. Let's just paste it there, and let's try to browse it, and here we can delete Carlos again. Another way is finding a way to change your role where those roles are defined in a hidden field, a cookie, a query string, or some other editable means in the application. So let's take a look at the laboratory. So this lab has an admin panel at /admin, and it says that administrators are identified using a forgeable cookie. We need to delete Carlos again, and this time we do have a credential which is winner and Peter as a password. So let's check out the lab. Now for this one we will be using Burp Suite. So let's take a look at the My account first, and let's see what happens when we use our credentials. So in order to observe, what we're going to do is let's turn on the proxy for Burp Suite, and let's open it up. Let's go to proxy, intercept on, and let's put the password winner, username winner, and password Peter. Click login. Let's just click advance, and let's just proceed. Resend. Okay, so here we can see what are the network calls that are being called. So this one is a post. Let's just click forward. And as you can see here on the cookie, there's admin equals false. Let's see what happens if we change it here to true. Okay, and let's forward it. Okay, so it says username winner and email. Okay, so let's try to go to /admin, and let's see what happens. Let's go to Burp Suite again. Okay, it is getting Academy Love header. Let's go for, the cookie is admin. Let's try to make it true for this request, and let's click forward. Admin again, let's click true. Let's type true. Click forward, and let's see what happens. And as you can see, even if I am logged in on my account, because of that or modifying the cookie, we now have an access to the admin panel, and we can delete Carlos. Now, an easier way to do it without using Burp Suite is, okay, let's just turn off the Burp Suite proxy, and let's go back to my account. Okay, here on my account, I'm still logged in as winner, and as you can see, whenever I access admin, I am not, or this interface is not allowed, or is not being shown to me. The Firefox browser has different types of extension where you can manage the cookie of the browser. So I have one here, which is the Cookie Quick Manager. So our HTTP or URL is 0A45. So let's go here, search for the cookie of 0A45 here, and as you can see, the cookie has admin false, and we can just simply edit it to true. Click save, and after we saved it, we refresh it, and without using Burp Suite, we now have an access to the admin panel. Last is finding a way to impersonate another person by changing something in the application that needs the person's ID. For example, API calls. And this is the reason why, by design, actual IDs like employee ID are not being used in these instances. So let me demonstrate this in the lab. Now this lab has a horizontal privilege escalation vulnerability on the user account page but identify users with GUID. So to solve the lab, find Carlos GUID, then submit his API key. Okay, then we can still use our earlier credential, which is Weiner and Peter. Now in this lab, let's try to access first using my account. And let's wait for it. So let's go Weiner, Peter. Don't save. And as you can see in this my account, I have my API key and the ID as a GUID. So there may be somewhere in this web page where I can get Carlos GUID, and the only place here is in home. And as you can see, there are articles here. Let's just right click, open them in different tabs really quick, and let's see if there are any clues where we can get Carlos GUID. Okay, I think that is enough. Let's check. So this one is for Carlos, and let's click the name. And as you can see, Carlos GUID is in the query string. Now let's just copy this. Let's see if that is something that we can change in my account. Copy this here. Click enter, and there it is. Your username is Carlos, your API key is this. Let's try to submit it as a solution. Click OK, and we have solved the lab. Another demonstration of that vulnerability, but this one we will be accessing someone's details page, and let's try to get the password in the laboratory. This lab has a user account page that contains the current user's existing password pre-filled in a mask input. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna impersonate the administrator, try to get the password, use it to log in, and delete Carlos. So this is the lab. Let's go to my account and let's try to log in and see if there are any other changes. Weiner, let's type Peter. Okay, so this is the password, and since it's masked, we cannot see it, but if we right click view page source, the password Peter will be seen there. Okay, now as you can see on the URL ID Weiner, let's try if what will happen if we just click or type administrator and click enter. And as you can see, username is now administrator. Password should be something that is not Peter, which is really long. Let's just right click view page source, and now we have the value of the password. Control C. Let's try to log in. We're gonna log out. My account, administrator, paste the password, click login, and now I am logged in as the administrator and have access to the admin panel. And again, I can now delete Carlos. At OWASP.org, they have suggested several ways to prevent it, and for me, I have 3 that are very easy to implement and very useful to protect yourself from this attack. The first one is this, and this is making most of your pages or API call deny by default, so none of them will not work without proper permission. Another one is this, enforcing record ownership, where for me it's more of adding permission at a level of a single data rather than a group of data if possible. For example, the permission of accessing the details of your account. And lastly, this one, very easy to do, disable your web service or web server directory listing. so that no one can see what are the files inside, no one can browse it, and those type of things. I would like to remind everyone that this is a part of a series of video where I discuss different types of server vulnerabilities, and the laboratory is powered by Web Security Academy, by Portswigger, the makers of Burp Suite. And if you like this video, be sure to check out my other videos here on Hakista TV. Till next time, my fellow Hakista.